Hello friends. I thought we might make orgeat. What is orgeat, you say? Well, orgeat is a syrup normally made with almonds, and it's a very popular tiki ingredient. Now, turns out you can use any nut you want to make your orgeat. In fact, I have even seen online people are making orgeat from avocado pits. Never tried that. Don't know what that would taste like. Maybe I'll try it sometime later. For this video, I've made cashew orgeat. I've made it in the past, and I find that it tastes delicious with whiskey, so I thought I would make a video about it so I can show you guys. Now, I think first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and I'll show you how to make the cashew orgeat. I wasn't super happy with the recipe I used, but it worked out okay in the end. Basically, you get some cashews, you toast them up on the stove. You could do this in the oven if you wanted. Either way, it's fine. You throw the toasted cashews into a food processor. You could use a blender, I guess. You could chop them up finely with a knife if you wanted to. That would be fine. And then you soak them in water. I did mine overnight. The recipe I had said to use a cup of cashews and a cup of water, but the cashews soaked up some of the water. Probably half the water got soaked up. I would probably double the water. I'd do 2 cups of water for a cup of cashews, or in this case, in my world, 400 milliliters of water for 200 grams of cashews. That makes sense to me. I tried to squeeze out all the, what they're going to call cashew milk. It's not really milk, but it's milky nut juice, I guess. What I did was I squeezed out all I could. I got about 100 milliliters from the original 200 milliliters of water I put in. And then I ran an extra 100 milliliters over the cashews to sort of wash out the nut juice. Once I had that, I added 200 grams of sugar. So basically a 1-to-1 syrup using nut milk instead of water. I threw in a little bit of orange flower water just to jazz it up, and I threw in a little bit of Rand Nephew white rum just to fortify it. And one quick tip, if you keep stirring it while it's cooling, it'll develop a little film on top, and then if you stir that back in as it's cooling, it won't separate so much. It works out a little better. You'll thank me later. Let that cool while stirring. Put it in a bottle, stick it in the fridge, and it tastes delicious. It's very creamy. It's very nutty, obviously. It tastes delicious. The classic drink to make with orgeat in my world is a Mai Tai. Mai Tais are delicious, but I never found them to be particularly nutty. I think it's kind of an accent. So I decided I would first try making just a regular Mai Tai with the cashew instead of regular orgeat. So let's see how that goes. First thing I'm going to do is crack some ice to put in the glass. And I'm just going to put in some shards that left over from clear ice making. It's tart, it's grassy. I mean, that's dope. Nothing wrong with that. While I was drinking this, I was talking to the wife, and I started thinking we could make a whiskey Mai Tai. Wouldn't really be a Mai Tai anymore, but you know, I was thinking whiskey instead of rum, lemon instead of lime, cashew orgeat instead of orgeat, leave the orange liqueur the same, and you would have a delicious drink. Then we started talking, and I thought maybe we should make a 4 whiskey Mai Tai. I thought we could use bourbon, rye, corn whiskey, and smoky scotch. for a whiskey unicorn. Now you may be wondering why I would name a drink such a ridiculous thing. I'm going to let Stephen explain.
Some time ago, Jenny and I had a friend whose boyfriend, a young white fellow, played in what he called an Irish band, who played what they called Irish songs, but they made them up themselves in Murphy's Pub in Seattle. And our friend urged us to go support her boyfriend's band and see their music show. So we went once, and it was atrocious. Every song sounded the same, and it was full of cliches, and it was just painfully uncomfortable. They drank a lot of Tullamore Dew and Jameson's, and they drank a lot of Guinness and Harp, and they sang these embarrassingly wretched faux Irish tunes, all of which sounded like, I was drinking whiskey with my old mother down in the basement in the old sod. We were drinking whiskey with our leprechaun, and we saw a rainbow in the old sod. Whiskey, 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 unicorn.
Thanks, Stephen. That was great. So let me just give you the recipe for whiskey unicorn. Now the main thing that I liked about it was the smoky scotch interacting with the cashew flavor. That was really nice, and the cashews gave it a real silky texture that I really thought was nice. So I thought the thing about it is you couldn't really discern the 4 different whiskeys. You could tell there was a smoky element, and otherwise it tasted like whiskey. So I'm gonna make another drink. I'm gonna make a sour. I'm going to make a whiskey sour with egg white. It's going to have some smoky scotch in it and Cashew Orgeat for the sweetener. And that should be very silky, very nutty. The smokiness should add a little something, and that should be really good. And I think we'll just call that the Whiskey Unicorn. Okay, we've tried this drink. It is so silky though, and smooth, and a little tart from the lemon. This is amazing, and I'm happy. I hope you're happy too. Alright, let me know in the comments if you like those drinks, because they're delicious. Please like and subscribe, that'll really help me out, and we'll see you next time.